Now, Heartland Sports with Todd Richards.
Hi again, everyone. Heartland Football Friday, of course, is back, and so are the top 12 plays of the week. We kicked off the big show on Friday, and tonight we roll out the top 12 starting right now.
Heartland Football Friday Top 12 Plays of the Week, sponsored by the Pickleball Factory.
Some impressive East Prairie running at the Kelly Jamboree gets us started in the countdown at play number 12. More big yardage on the ground from Harrisburg in the Bulldog scrimmage against Marion at number 11. Portageville stands tall on this goal line stand against Dexter with the C.J. Miller interception at play number 10. From the Kelly to Cape Central Jamboree, St. Vincent's Wyatt Winkler shows off some wheels from the QB position against Perryville at number 9. More Winkler magic at number 8. This time he tosses the touchdown pass to Quentin Doza. To the New Madrid County Central Jamboree we go, and congratulations to the Saxony Lutheran Crusaders for playing their first competition on the varsity level as we close out the countdown at play number 7. And coming up at 10, we'll count down the plays to number 1. How about NFL teams? They have until tomorrow to get their rosters down to 53 players. The Chiefs cut quarterback Bailey Zappi today. We'll keep you updated on other moves as they occur. Now to the golf course, where Jackson girls standout Julia Schlitt has announced her verbal commitment to play golf at Columbus State University in Columbus, Georgia. Schlitt placed second in the state in the Class 5 in 2024, becoming the first Jackson golfer to ever place second in state. In fact, Julia has earned all state honors the past 3 seasons. Congratulations to Julia Schlitt, and good luck at Columbia State University. And we finish up with the Cardinals hosting the Pirates in about 15 minutes from now. And that's where I say we'll be right back.